Welcome to Great Day Washington. My name is Chris Leary. A decade after former Vice President Al Gore's An Inconvenient Truth movie brought climate change right into the heart of popular culture, he is back with a sequel. It's a riveting and rousing follow-up that shows just how close we are to a real energy revolution. I sat down with a former vice president to chat about An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power. Could you explain to me what an energy revolution is, and are we in it or close to it?
It's beginning now. Last year in the United States, if you look at the new electricity generation that was built, almost 3/4 of it was from solar and wind. Virtually none, 0.2% was coal. And of course, in the past, it was mostly coal. And around the world, the same shift is taking place. And when the cost of electricity from solar and wind comes down to the level where it's competitive and then goes further and becomes cheaper than electricity from fossil fuels, that really changes everything. And now, with the batteries coming down in cost, they can use the solar power from the day at night and the wind power at night in the day, and that's really a complete game changer.
We come a long way.
Yeah, we really have.
You're happy about that?
I'm very happy about it. I'm also happy that all the major car manufacturers are introducing electric vehicles. Volvo's stopped making internal combustion vehicles for the next model year. India has said within 13 years, 100% of their cars and trucks are going to have to be electric. So there are a lot of good positive changes.
Is that making an impact?
It is making an impact. The global emissions have stabilized now. They've started coming down for 3 years in a row in China and in the US. But it's not enough yet. We still need to do more. But it's encouraging that we're now finally moving in the right direction instead of moving in the wrong direction.
And then November 1992, November of 2016, let's say, hypothetically, King Al Gore was in and controlled the USA, okay? And you had everything you needed from that 24 years or so. How would things be different globally as far as the climate?
Well, I like to think that I could have made a huge difference. But those are what ifs that are hard to analyze. Because the real revolution in energy and sustainability has to come from the grassroots up. And we've got the wind at our backs now. I guess I don't intend that pun, but we've got things moving in the right direction now, which is great. There was an economist named Rudy Dornbush years ago who said, things take longer to happen than you think they will, and then they happen faster than you thought they could. I think we're right at the cusp of that kind of change right now.
You say it happens grassroots, but wouldn't it be nice to get big business on board? Because big business, boy, they love that oil. They love that fossil fuel. What would change if you had big business saying, hey, we can make some money on this, we can make profit on this, we can really how would that change things?
Well, actually, we're seeing some of that now, and we're seeing that it makes for big changes. The Paris Agreement 18 months ago was really designed to send a signal to business, big and small, industry, investors. That signal's been received, and you saw it when Donald Trump made his announcement on the Paris Agreement. Virtually the next day, a whole bunch of business leaders stepped up to the plate and said, we're going to fill the gap. We're going to stay in the Paris Agreement, meet the U.S. commitments regardless of what Donald Trump does. Not every business is on board yet, but Apple's 100% renewable now already in the U.S. and in China. Google is pretty close if they're not there already, Microsoft, and you can run down the list. And some of the so-called old industry companies are now joining the call for really complying with the Paris Agreement and going beyond it.
Personal question. When you were a politician, I don't think you're a politician anymore, are you?
I'm a recovering politician.
Ah, gotcha. When you were a politician, you had a criticism. The energy level of his speeches have yet to be desired. But when I watch the movie, I see a different Al Gore. Who's that guy?
Well, I hear that a lot, and I guess the old song that Chris Christopherson wrote and Janis Joplin sang with the line, "Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose," maybe that has something to do with it.
He gets fired up in this movie. You might not recognize him. It's pretty good. He's a really good guy, too, no matter how you vote. By the way, after the break, also caught up with the directors of Al Gore's new film, An Inconvenient Sequel, Truth to Power. I'm going to show you that conversation next. Stay with us.